Hi guys, hello again. This is not a normal review. This is kind of like our other couple videos where we
top 10 stuff.
Top 10. So this time we're going to talk about top 10 of our own personal
worst
or least favorite movies, and we tried to stick from like 2000 up, so nothing. We're not going back far.
Or we tried to also stick with some stuff that wasn't so maybe clichély. What's the word I'm looking for? Default that people will go to. Say it's awful.
Yeah.
These movies are awful. Don't get me wrong, but maybe some of you aren't really thinking about them.
Or maybe some of you have different opinions on them.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'll start. So we
do one at a time, right? We want to do one? Right, go for it.
So no particular order for any of these, but the first one I'm going to talk about is 50 Shades of Grey. It's just bad. Like I
don't think we finished it.
We walked out. We saw it in theaters with another friend. It's like some of the worst acting and worst writing that I've ever seen.
There's no story
in a movie ever. And even if there is a story, it doesn't matter because the way that they're presenting, like the writing, is horrible.
It's dreadful.
It's a really bad movie.
It's really awful. Well, here we go. First one. Drake and I saw this fairly recently. Yeah. We were thinking about doing a review for it, but we so desperately did not want to talk about it because how awful it is. It's the Happy Time Murders with Melissa McCarthy and then some other people. It's a Muppet, not the Muppets, but they're puppets, awful.
Like adults.
Shitfest.
And like, the thing that I hated most about that movie, every single one of their jokes relied on being sexual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that would be one thing if they were funny, but then they weren't funny at all.
You know what I remember too? That's true. But I remember from the first trailer, I was like, oh, hey, this kind of looks interesting. A little Muppet comedy. I was kind of interested. I really don't like Melissa McCarthy, but I thought the concept could have been interesting.
Yeah.
And then once I saw the trailer again, I remember I was like, what the hell is this? Why did we bother? Why did we see this?
Just cause. Like, we wanted to see something bad.
It was so
It's
awful.
like if you gave...
Jokes are terrible.
If you gave like a 13-year-old boys, you're like, hey, write a movie, I feel like this is probably what they'd come up with.
I want to know. I'm going to look at the writers. A bunch of dumbasses.
It was really bad. Well, he's doing that.
Todd Berger. What a dumbass. I don't know what he wrote. He wrote nothing.
This is not important.
This is nothing.
The next movie on my list is Land of the Lost, the 2009 remake with Will Ferrell.
Yep.
Just another horrible comedy that's not funny. I remember laughing at one part, and the part is there's a giant mosquito that sucks like Will Ferrell's blood and he like passes out. That's the only time I laughed.
I think that's the only thing I remember from the movie.
I just remember it being very incredibly immature.
Yeah.
And just not... It has like almost nothing to do with the original Land of the Lost series, other than like a few things here or there. I can't even...
don't like Danny McBride either. He's in it too.
Yeah. It's just... It's not... It's really bad.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty awful. Next little movie here. We got a horror movie I hope none of you saw. It's called The Bye-Bye Man. I don't even think I finished it. It is honestly probably the worst horror movie within the past 10 years.
No.
I
disagree.
It's so dreadfully long and drags out. It's not scary at all. You have this plaster of characters that are just this gross... I'm going to be honest with you, some of these movies I just don't really remember what happens because it's so awful.
I have two... It's not good, that's for sure.
It's really bad. I was like, oh, hey, it kind of takes place in Wisconsin, where we are, and I was like, hey, it's kind of interesting. I'll maybe get a little peek. And then I tried to watch it. I don't know why I bothered. It was dreadful.
Not good.
I was in physical pain watching it.
The next movie on my list is Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp.
His best role.
An imprisoned vampire, Barnabas Collins, is set free and returns to his ancestral home where his dysfunctional descendants are in need of protection. I remember seeing this movie in theaters and not being able to wait until it was over. I like I like Helena Bonham Carter a lot, but the fact that she's in this movie makes me want to vomit.
Yep.
It's really bad. That's all I have. I hardly remember it because I think I tried to block it out of my memory after I saw it.
PTSD.
It's very bad.
Got another little movies came out last year, just like Bye Bye Man. I know there's probably a lot of people I think like this movie, or were at least entertained by it. But my fucking god, is it terrible! He never saw it, but I wanted to watch it.
No, I don't want to. I don't like just pure action movies to begin with.
No, I don't like it either.
You like action movies.
Well, if they're done well.
I don't like action movies to begin with all that much, especially not if it's supposed to be really bad.
Just listen to me. So we got a movie, Hitman's Bodyguard. It was awful. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I like Ryan Reynolds, and when I saw him, to be honest, I remember the trailer not making me laugh once too, but I was still interested in watching it because I liked the two of them, and I was interested to see a little kind of whatever action movie with them together. But my God, is it awful! It's it's another thing. Drake was talking about Land of the Lost. There's no clever writing at all for like the humor. It's just a montage of just sex jokes or like them. I think Samuel L. Jackson refers to the same. No, it's Ryan Reynolds. They're in a car together. They have the same conversation literally 4 times about his like wife or something. I can't remember. Something about his wife. They have the same conversation. They keep pausing it and they come back to it and they say the same thing over again 4 different times. Awful, really bad, and I feel bad for you if you've enjoyed it.
The next movie on my list is the most recent entry in the critically acclaimed Paranormal Activity. It's Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones. I liked the first 3 Paranormal Activities a lot, specifically 1 and 3, and I didn't mind the 4th. Was the 4th one great? No, but did I hate it?
Was that with the blonde girl?
Yeah, and the Connect. They had like the.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but the most recent one, I remember, like not seeing any marketing for it, and it just coming out one day.
Mm-hmm. That's not a good sign.
And then I was like, oh, they came out with another one, and I was like, let's watch it. And I can see why they weren't advertising, because I think it was just a total cash grab. I think they were using the Paranormal Activity name to try to get money.
Yep.
It's really bad, and it's a stain on the franchise that wasn't that bad, especially the first one.
I don't know. I don't think they were ever that solid to begin with. First and third one were good.
Yeah, that's
second
what I'm
one
saying.
I don't really remember. Fourth
second
one
one's not great.
That was pretty bad.
This 4th one's not. Yeah, it's not good, but it's not horrible on the level of this one was.
So we got another little movie that Drake and I equally hate a lot.
Yeah, I don't like
not
it.
just because of our. I'm not saying we don't like this movie because of our. How we don't have any interest in religion, but the movie's God's Not Dead. Yeah. The movie is just awful because it's really awful. You have something. There's like a professor and this kid who's just overly optimistic and kind of like a douchebag, a religious dude, who like never wants to like he can't reason with anybody. He's so closed off to every character in the movie, and he's like, no, you just gotta find God. And that's what he kept saying all the time, and it was very bizarre.
It's the same company that like kind of pumps out all
these religious movies,
and it's totally pandering to just religious people to go see. And
yeah, that's like the only people that are going to enjoy this movie, not one normal.
It's just
moviegoers.
It's just not good. If it was a religious movie, and I wasn't religious, but it was good, I'd say, oh, hey, that was a kind.
There's movies that a lot of time that their main focus is on religion that I still really like because they're good movies, but that's not what they're.
But this one was like trying to like jam it down your throat, like
shoving it. And
it's not good.
I remember there's a specific part in the movie where I was like, "What the hell? Why is no one helping him?" The professor gets hit.
Oh yeah, by
the main professor gets hit by a car and he's dying.
And then he sees
no one's helping him. No, he doesn't see
God or something. And then he's saved.
Instead of anybody physically helping him, this douchebag priest. He's an actor that's in a bunch of these religious movies. But he comes over to him. This guy's dying in the street. He's like laid out. He's like, oh my God. And then he's like, oh, you gotta find God. And he's like, I need medical help. He's not saying that, that's like, why is no one helping him? This guy's dying in the street, and he's like, make sure you just gotta find God before you go. He needs help.
And I like that the one like bad character in the movie's atheist, and they make him out to be like this total
bad
antagonist.
He's giving scientific fact in a presentation, and then like I said, you have the douchebag, closed-minded dumbass who's like, you need God, and then the point is, this movie's awful. Don't worry about it.
Okay, next movie on my list. The fact that it has the pretty good reviews that it does. The movie's Rango.
I like that movie.
Rango was one of the most boring, overly slow kids movies ever made that I've ever seen in my life. The only good thing about it was the animation style.
I like that.
Everything else, it was painfully slow, painfully boring. I didn't care about any character in the movie. It makes me mad because like it has like a 7.2 and it has a 75 on Metascore, and it's not at all deserving. Please rewatch it and you'll see that it's really bad. Oh brother, I'll let you go or else I'm gonna get upset.
Got another little movie. Alien vs. Predator. Requiem. Alien vs. Predator, don't get me wrong, is awful. But I don't know where these dumbasses decided that we need to spit out a sequel. I'm just trying to contemplate how bad it was. I remember playing like a PSP game that was based on this movie. And so like the Predator ship crashes from the ending of Alien vs. Predator. And then you find out the alien, the gun on his face, out of his chest, out of one of the predators.
I haven't seen it. So.
And then it unleashes itself and like finds I guess there was more face huggers on the predator ship. I don't know. And then more predators roll up, and they're trying to find where the aliens went off to. And then there's these awful human characters that are just thrown in. It's honestly, I don't really have words to describe how awful the writing is, because it's so painful. The dialogue makes no sense. You have characters that are making unrealistic decisions, and it's really dreadful. You have a father and a son, and a daughter with like her parents, and then a sheriff and somebody, or some, I don't know. It's so awful. I don't want to talk about it. No more.
Next movie on my list is a Rob Zombie film called 31. I
don't think I like one of his movies.
Rob Zombie doesn't particularly make very good movies, but most of the time they're entertaining, and what I was hoping for was... They're entertaining. They're not the best. What I was hoping for is this movie came for a special selects, like, early showing around Halloween, and I was like, hey, okay, let's just go see this. It might be fun. And it was not at all entertaining. It was boring. They tried to be funny, and it wasn't funny.
Do you remember the people that were in the theater?
Yes.
They were like very scary looking dudes with like...
Well, it's because Rob Zombie first was music.
Thick beards.
So it's like heavy metal music.
Yeah, but like these were large, bulky dudes that just looked like super
Well, that has nothing to do... You have no idea if these guys are mean or not. I'm talking about the movie. And most of Rob Zombie's movies are very violent, and I was expecting this movie to be very violent, but I remember it really wasn't all that violent. It was just kind of boring. Like, the action was terrible. I didn't care about anyone. Everyone could have died.
Was it Malcolm McDowell in that movie?
Yeah. The only saving grace of the entire movie was the fact that he was in it, but he was barely in it at all. Yeah. Not good. Don't watch 31.
Another little movie is one of those comedies that's just filled with like sketches with like really famous actors and actresses. I think you and I watched it a long time ago. I don't think we finished it. But it's called Inappropriate Comedy. It's about this woman who's like viewing this app on like a tablet, and each app has like a skit whenever she opens it, and then like you just got actors just plastered in some strange scene. They were paid however much.
And it was like it's like well-known actors too.
It's
which is
really
weird.
well-known actors and actresses, but then all the sketches are sketches. The sketches are just not funny at all. It's like if you made Saturday Night Live even worse. That's
like really bad.
Like really bad.
And immature, like incredibly immature. And what was the other movie like that we talked about?
Movie 23.
It's like movie 31, movie 23.
I think I had it.
Something like that. Something very It's a very similar concept.
With like sketches with famous
like Hugh Jackman's in it.
It's awful. Don't worry about it. Just move on.
Next movie on my list, movie from 2018, Insidious: The Last Key. I have another movie on this list yet to come that is a sequel to a horror movie. Well, I'll get to that when I get there. But Insidious, they had such a good track record going. The first, we talked about it in the horror movie. You agreed with me. We like 1, 2, and 3.
3's pretty good. That's about it.
Yeah, that's what there's 3 before this. So I don't know why you made that dumb face.
Shut up, bitch! I thought there was another one.
No, well, you clearly don't know what's going on.
I'll beat you up.
Insidious 1 and 2, two good films, tie into each other perfectly. The third one, not bad. It was entertaining. It fit the style of Insidious well.
It takes place before the first two, right?
I can't remember. The fourth one, I think partially it's so bad because it doesn't even, other than a few characters, it doesn't even feel like an Insidious movie. It feels like its own thing.
You're meant to care about the daughter, like her granddaughter. I don't know, her nieces, right? What's the old lady?
Yeah.
Her nieces, and then you also find out that she caused. Remember, you find out she caused the events of the first movie.
Right.
She opened the door that led the Darth Maul demon to.
The thing that I hated about it the most.
This is bad.
It started off not that bad,
no, I don't
but in the end, please stop. In the end, it got so over the top and like unlike Insidious that it was laughable how bad it was.
I've never really much cared for Elise, I think is her name. Elaine or Elise? Elaine, whatever. One of those.
I like her in the first ones.
I've never seen a movie just drag out a character who died from their first movie. She died in the first one, and then she's still there. She lingers.
Yeah. Well, she's a pretty good character. I didn't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with that.
I need to move on to this awful movie. Country Bears! Hey! I don't know if anybody, little children, watched this when you guys were younger.
Never seen it.
That's about a little bear boy who wants to sing with the big bears. You have a little band of bears. They're playing their like country folk rock sort of, and I don't really know why it exists. To be honest, I don't know what fool said let's make this movie and thought it looked good. It's really awful. I haven't watched it recently. I'm just reflecting back on some of the scenes.
If you think something's bad as a kid, you know it's going to be horrible. Like
for sure. Oh, it's awful. Yeah. There's nothing else to say.
Next movie on my list is another movie from 2018, Death Wish, starring Bruce Willis.
I was excited for that movie.
I was excited because Eli Roth makes violent, entertaining horror action movies. So I was thinking that this would kind of follow suit. And hey, Bruce Willis is in it. Okay. But then this, like, there's no action in the entire movie other than, like, 2 parts.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a movie about him killing criminals.
Like, getting revenge, and it's more him, like, grieving over the loss of, like, family, as his wife, which is fine. But don't market it as... It was so boring, and the writing was horrible.
Yep.
I'm just not going to trust Eli Roth from now on.
Another awful movie. I'm going to go through this one fast because it's really bad. Fantastic Four, the remake one, terrible. Awful editing. You can tell where the reshoots happen because the woman who plays, what's her name? Sue Storm, Kate Mara. In the beginning, the first time they filmed, she had dyed blonde hair. And then you see with the reshoots, because she's wearing this wig where you can clearly see the line, and it's completely different looking hair than the reshoots, and it's painful. I think it was pretty boring. I think it turns into like a spy chase movie where they're looking for Reed Richards or something. I don't know. It's bad. Well, it's so awful.
Next movie is a movie that you and I both equally hate. Let me just preface that this movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes long. So not only is it horrible from the beginning, but then you have to sit through 2.5 hours of horribleness in its inherent vice.
Yep.
And the trailers kind of made it seem like kind of like a silly, like, I knew it was going to be weird.
Like a Coen Brothers type comedy in a way.
Right. And it has a lot of good actors in it that I like, but it's so confusing.
Yep.
And nothing makes sense in the movie.
Nothing really happened.
I remember us just sitting there. We walked out after like an hour and like a half.
I think the last thing we saw is when
I don't even want to
they go into a banana building.
Something.
Building that looks
I don't
like
know.
a banana.
But things were just confusing, and it felt like they were confusing to the point of just confusing the audience for no reason at all.
Really bad.
And it's a pain, and it's a painfully boring, horrible, confusing movie.
I have a movie that's really bad that it's almost good because of how bad it is. That's not really saying much, but it's called Outcast. It's a movie with Nick Cage, everybody's cult favorite, and then Hayden Christensen. Hey, everybody's favorite actor. There you go. So they're both They used to play. What am I saying? They used to be crusaders or something, and the war was tough on them, medieval crusaders or whatever. And then they killed people. Blah blah blah.
Why did you watch it? I know you saw the trailer.
Because I like medieval movies, and I knew it'd be bad. I just wanted to see how awful it was.
Talk about Nick Cage's eye.
Oh, I'll get to it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You got Hayden Christensen. He like looked up to Nick Cage or something. I don't remember something. And then Nick Cage disappears. Then people talk about, oh, he's gone. Where'd he go? And then Hayden Christensen's just an obnoxious drunk. Just to be an obnoxious drunk. Just there's no point. He just drinks. He's not really even a character. He's just a person that's just present who swings a sword and says annoyingly quippy lines and has this awful British accent. And then he goes to China for some reason. He's like, let's go to China. Here we go. So they go to China and then he hears about this guy called the White Wolf. Oh, spooky. And because he's supposed to save the China emperor little boy. I don't know. And then he meets Nick Cage, and then I guess Nick Cage hurt his eye. And like,
the whole movie, his eyes
and then
closed.
And then he's just winking. He's just holding his eye closed the whole movie, and that's it.
He doesn't even have an eye patch.
No, he's just doing this.
He's holding his eye closed, and it looks like it's painful. Like, it's kind of hard
That's what he does. I'm surprised his face didn't get stuck like that, because of how much he was doing. It's awful. Don't worry about it.
Okay, last movie on my list is, I hate that it has to be here, and I hate that it was even made in the first place, because if you watched our top 10 horror movies video, Woman in Black is one of my favorite horror movies ever. The scares are fantastic, the story's fantastic, there's a great feeling of isolation throughout the entire movie. But then they decided to make The Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death.
Takes place like 20 years later, right?
During like World War II or for some reason. Like it's not they could almost be separate movies other than the fact that the Woman in Black character is still there.
Yep.
It's so bad, and I don't know why.
No tension.
Woman in Black was based off a play, a play, which was turned into a book, which there were stage adaptations and TV adaptations in Britain, and then they made the movie and released it in America. And then this movie has nothing to do with any of that. It's horrible. It makes me sad because I liked the first one so much. I saw that they were making a second one. I got excited for I don't know why.
It's a bad
and I saw
blockbuster
it, and
horror.
it's horrible. It's not even scary. Most of those remakes of horror movies aren't scary at all. Woman in Black is a great example.
Last awful movie, The New World. I know some people might like it, but it came out in like 2005. You got Colin Farrell and Christian Bale. Basically, it's like a live-action, gritty version of like Pocahontas. That's what it is. It's really boring. My God, it's awful. It's slow. You have characters that make a lot of decisions out of nowhere that don't really make any logical sense. And then you have Pocahontas. She meets Captain Smith, John Smith, who's Colin Farrell, and then somehow she learns English in 2 days. 2 days. By bad movie, not worth more of a discussion. Point is, these movies are awful.
These are all movies.
Watch them at your own risk, or just don't. Please don't.
I wouldn't watch them.
That's all we got. Awful movies.
Thanks for tuning in.
Don't worry about it.
Like, subscribe, share, comment, send your friends.
Do whatever.
See
If
movies.
you have any awful movies, I hope...
Put them in the comments.
Put them in the comments. Talk about how bad they are. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.